Welcome to Sleepy Historian, where old tales whisper by candlelight and memories gently drift into dreams. Tonight, let us journey back to a time long asleep in history.
The sun, a pale disk in the hard, gray sky, climbs higher and higher. Beside you, the camel shifts, its breath misting in the frosty air. You pull your worn cloak tighter against the morning chill. Soon the caravan will move out, following the barely discernible tracks left by yesterday's journey. As the first rays touch your face, you know that another day of walking beside the endless line of camels has begun. Your calloused hands tighten on the rope, harnessing your own mount. This is your life now, a life measured by the rising and setting of the sun, by the crunch of gravel underfoot and the endless rocking motion of the caravan. You walk, you watch, you wait, and you endure. Sometimes a hawk cries overhead, or a lonely wolf answers the rising sun with a mournful call. But mostly there is silence, broken only by the rhythmic swish of camel tails and the soft thud of their padded feet. You have walked beside these hardy beasts for days, weeks, maybe months. You no longer count the hours. Time is measured by the thirst that bites at your throat and the hunger that gnaws at your belly. At night, around the dying embers of the fire, you huddle with the others, sharing stories, sharing dreams of a different life, a life beyond the Gobi Desert. But always, always in your dreams, the wind whispers of the harsh, unforgiving landscape that has become your home. Suddenly, a shout rings out, breaking the silence. You look up to see a lone rider silhouetted against the sun. As he draws closer, you recognize the man. It is Genghis Khan, his face weathered and lined like the ancient mountains that rim the desert. He has roamed this harsh land for years, learning its secrets, enduring its hardships, becoming one with the spirits of the desert. Beside him, his horse paws the ground restlessly, eager to be off. And you know that when the great Khan speaks, his words carry the weight of law. Whatever he says will shape not just your day, but perhaps your destiny. And then he speaks, his voice raspy but strong. Today we ride for Khara Khoto, the lost city swallowed by the sands. Legend says untold riches lie hidden there, guarded by spirits and mysteries. Are you with me? A murmur ripples through the crowd. Some shake their heads, their eyes flickering to the endless dunes. But you cannot resist the lure of the unknown. You step forward, meeting Genghis Khan's gaze. You are ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Tonight, as you drift into slumber, the sounds of the Gobi fading into the distance, you will walk among the ruins of Khara Khoto. You will wander through the empty halls of the palace and haggle for silks and spices in the marketplace. You will feel the pulse of the city in your bones, even though it has been gone for centuries. You will understand the burden of empire as you sit on a Khan's throne, knowing that beyond the silken tents, the harsh winds of the Gobi blow, carrying with them the hopes and struggles of a people. But for now, close your eyes and listen to the wind. Let it carry you away on a journey through time and legend. The Gobi waits. Before we begin, I want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself somewhere in the vast, rugged landscape of the Gobi Desert. Picture yourself in a world of rolling sand dunes, under the scorching sun, enduring the biting cold of the desert nights. Now take a moment to meet the star of our story today, the resilient and hardy Victorian camel. With its distinctive shaggy coat and two humps, this remarkable creature is perfectly adapted to the harsh conditions of the desert. The rhythmic swaying of its gait becomes the soundtrack of your journey, carrying you through the desolate plains of the Gobi. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a tale of resilience, endurance, and the fascinating world of the ancient Silk Road. Our story takes us back to the heart of the Gobi Desert, where the mighty Silk Road once thrived. We'll walk alongside camel tenders as they guide their backtrained camels across the unforgiving terrain. You will experience the harsh realities of life in the desert and the unbreakable bond between the camel tenders and their trusty companions. If that sounds exciting, please consider subscribing to show your support for our journey through time. Also, if you'd like to learn about amazing offers from our community, check out the link below. Now, let's get started. Step into the world of a camel tender, a nomadic herder whose life revolves around these majestic creatures. In the desolate landscapes of Central Asia, these men and women navigate the unforgiving terrains of the Gobi Desert, ensuring the safety and well-being of their precious camels. Life as a camel tender is a testament to human resilience and adaptation. These individuals brave the extremes of the Gobi's climate, enduring freezing temperatures and scorching heat waves, all in the name of tradition and necessity. It's a challenging profession that demands physical endurance, unwavering determination, and a profound connection with their environment. Theirs is a life less ordinary, shaped by the rhythms of nature and the timeless bond with these noble creatures. At dawn, the camel tender wakes to the chill of the desert morning. The temperature in the Gobi can plummet to freezing levels during the night, making it a daunting task to rouse oneself from slumber. But with the rising sun, the landscape transforms and the day's work begins. First, they attend to their camels, checking ropes, untangling loads, and coaxing the stubborn animals into movement. It is a harmonious dance of man and beast as they prepare to embark on their journey across the barren plains. The camels, with their shaggy coats and twin humps, are perfectly adapted to thrive in such conditions. Their resilience and endurance are truly remarkable, mirroring the tenacity of the camel tenders who depend on them. But the challenges of the Gobi test the limits of endurance. The desert's unforgiving terrain and harsh weather conditions demand unwavering focus and stamina from both the camel tenders and their trusty mounts. As they traverse the undulating landscape, the camel tenders navigate uneven terrain, guiding their camels over rocky paths and ensuring their safety throughout the arduous journey. It is a delicate balance of skill and intuition as they adapt to the ever-changing conditions of the desert. Under the relentless sun, the Gobi transforms into a sea of shimmering heat waves. The air shimmers with mirage-like illusions, and the tender must stay vigilant to ensure the well-being of their camels. The scorching heat intensifies the rhythm of survival, making every step a test of endurance. But amidst the scorching heat, the spirit of camaraderie shines through. The close-knit community of camel tenders rely on cooperation and mutual support. Sharing stories, jokes, and traditional songs, they forge bonds that transcend the boundaries of language and culture. The shared challenges of navigating the Gobi Desert forge a sense of unity among them, creating a powerful sense of belonging. As the sun begins its descent, the Gobi reveals its nocturnal beauty. The sky explodes with vibrant colors, painting a breathtaking panorama above the desert sands. The camel tenders take a moment to appreciate the serenity of the desert night, finding solace in the vast expanse of the cosmos. In the stillness of the desert, the camel tenders set up camp, preparing for the chilly night ahead. Fires crackle, casting dancing shadows that intertwine with tales of bravery and resilience. Around the campfire, the stories of the Silk Road come alive, transporting them to a time when merchants and travelers roamed these very sands. The heart of the Gobi holds many wonders, including a unique natural phenomenon, singing sand dunes. As the wind sweeps across the desert, it creates mesmerizing musical tones that resonate through the vast emptiness. The camel tenders and their camels pause to marvel at this enchanting spectacle, momentarily forgetting the hardships of their journey. The haunting melodies of the dunes serve as a reminder of the desert's untamed beauty. Camel tenders play a pivotal role in preserving cultural traditions that have stood the test of time. Their age-old techniques, passed down through generations, ensure the continuation of nomadic herding practices. One such tradition is the art of reading the stars. By observing the celestial patterns above, the camel tenders navigate their way across the Gobi, keeping them on course and ensuring they reach their destination safely. The stars become their guide in the pitch-black desert nights, connecting them to a rich astronomical heritage. In the heart of the Gobi, history comes alive with ancient petroglyphs adorning the rugged rocks. These enigmatic symbols offer a glimpse into the lives of prehistoric humans who roamed the desert. The camel tenders, with their deep connection to the land, possess stories that bring these ancient rock paintings to life. Through their narratives, the spirits of the past dance among the dunes, creating a sense of continuity between generations. But the Gobi's embrace is not without its perils. Sandstorms, dust storms, and encounters with predators add an element of danger to the camel tenders' existence. During sandstorms, they seek shelter, protecting themselves and their camels from the relentless winds that threaten to engulf them. The roar of the storm echoes the untamed spirit of the desert as they wait for the fury to subside. Amidst the vast emptiness of the Gobi, the camel tenders find solace in their deep connection with nature. They understand the subtle signs of the desert, reading the tracks left behind by nocturnal creatures and interpreting the whispers of the wind. In this fragile ecosystem, they live in harmony with the rhythm of the desert, respecting its power and embracing its secrets. As twilight descends, the Gobi Desert transforms into a realm of enchantment. The sky shimmers with hues of orange and purple, casting long shadows that stretch across the sand dunes. In this magical hour, the camel tenders share stories and laughter, finding joy in the simple moments of camaraderie. The tranquility of the evening desert envelops them, offering a respite from the day's challenges. Now I want you to take a moment to reflect on the journey you've shared with the camel tenders of the Gobi Desert. Picture the endless horizons, the harsh beauty of the landscape, and the resilience of both the humans and their trusty camels. How does this adventure make you feel? Do you find inspiration in their strength and adaptability, or perhaps a sense of wonder at the mysteries of the desert? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let your imagination roam free across the vast plains of the Gobi. As you continue exploring the wonders of the Silk Road, remember the camel tenders and their camels, the unsung heroes of the desert who connect us to the rich tapestry of our shared human history. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please give us a like to show your support for more captivating stories from the Silk Road. We've got many more journeys planned, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Keep an eye on those notifications because we've got new adventures just around the corner. Until then, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember the spirit of adventure is always within reach. What you're about to hear might sound like something out of a fantasy novel. A baby found in a dead animal, left for dead, nursed back to health by a wolf. And instead of becoming the child of man, the child is raised by wolves and eventually becomes a man-wolf hybrid who leads an army of savage warriors to conquer the world. Well, if you're thinking that sounds ridiculous, then you should probably stop watching right now because that is basically the plot of this week's episode. But if you're thinking, well, that actually does sound kind of cool, then let me tell you how it went down. We first meet our protagonist when he was still a wee babe. His birth name was Temujin, but we know him today as Genghis Khan, founder of the Mongol Empire, which at its greatest extent was the largest contiguous land-based empire in the history of the world. Our story starts off like many others with a royal pig assassination. Temujin's pop, Yasuge, was hanging out with some other clan leaders having a nice little peace pipe when suddenly a rival clan shows up, kills his dad, and poisons Temujin's mom. But she survives long enough to bail out of there, grab Temujin and his siblings, and bug out deep into the wilderness. Now, according to legend, it's here where they ran out of food, and Temujin's mom left him and his brother in a cave while she went out hunting. Now, she was gone longer than expected, and eventually the boys got so hungry that they decided to go find her. On the way, they stumble upon a nearby stream and decide to get a drink. And when Temujin bends down to get a drink, he sees a litter of wolf pups. Now, maybe it was because he was already starving, or maybe it was because he was a prophesied child of the dragon, who was destined to unite all the Mongols under his banner. Whatever the reason, he decides that he wants to eat the pups, but his older brother says no and chases him away. It's at this point that the two brothers split ways. Temujin goes further into the wilderness alone and eventually collapses from exhaustion and hunger. And when he wakes up, he is discovered by a she-wolf who takes him back to her den. Legend says that she suckled Temujin and took care of him as if he were her own pup. And when he was old enough, he joined her pack and began to live as a wolf. Now, there are a lot of details in this story that don't really make much sense. Like, for instance, wolves can't breastfeed human babies because their nipples aren't built to do that. And if Temujin really did live as a wolf for a few years, it's unlikely that he would have developed any sort of opposable thumbs or opposable toes. But anyway, you get the idea. Let's just assume that Temujin did spend some amount of time living with wolves and raise a few questions. Why would a she-wolf take pity on a human baby? Is it possible for a human to live as a wolf and learn to survive in the wild without the help of their family? And finally, what the hell does any of this have to do with the Silk Road? Anyway, you're really gonna have to deal with those questions on your own because I am afraid I have to wrap things up here. Temujin wasn't always a beast of legend. Once he was a boy who walked alongside the camel tenders. Time winds back, the camel bells echoing across the endless expanse of the Gobi Desert. The year is 1175, and a young Temujin, though still bearing the weight of his people's exile, is now part of a larger clan. His family's wounds are healing, but life remains a hard-edged existence. The Mongols, skilled horsemen and archers, hunt the wild animals that traverse these desolate plains. Days are measured by the sun's relentless climb and the search for sustenance. Yet among this harsh landscape and rugged life, Temujin finds purpose. Horses become his passion, their strength and grace, mirroring the spirit he wishes to nurture within himself. Among the Mongols, skill with horses is more than a talent. It's a mark of honor. It's here that we meet our second protagonist, a young woman named Bert. While the exact details of their meeting are lost to history, what we know is that love blossomed. Two spirits, both shaped by the harsh realities of their world, found solace in each other. Their union is not merely a romance, but a pact of loyalty and strength, much like the horses Temujin loves. When Temujin and Borda's love deepens, their bond echoes the strength of the wild horses that roam free on the Mongolian steppes. Much like those horses, their love knows no bounds, yet it too is threatened by the unforgiving terrain of their lives. Their happiness is not a luxury they can afford. Soon, the horizon darkens for the young couple. Temujin's new family, the clan he joined, suffers a devastating loss in battle. The Tatars, led by a vengeful warlord named Jamuka, have struck. Worse still, Jamuka seeks not just victory, but vengeance against Temujin personally. This betrayal cuts deep. Not only is Temujin's clan scattered, but his own family is taken captive, including his beloved Borte. Fate's cruelty seems absolute. His horse-loving heart heavy with the burden of his people's defeat, Temujin's spirit is forged in the fires of adversity. Now, with the traditional bonds of clan and family shattered, he's forced to forge new alliances, uniting tribes under his banner, preparing for a reckoning with Jamuka. Yet even as he strategizes, the memory of Borte haunts him. Her image a beacon driving him forward, fueling his desire for vengeance and reunion. What started as a personal fight for Temujin soon evolves into something greater. His victories attract followers, not just from among the Mongols, but from other tribes as well. With each passing triumph, his stature grows, drawing him closer to the title by which he'll be remembered. Genghis Khan, a title bestowed upon him by no one less than his own father. Though Temujin has united many tribes, his path is not without opposition. Even as his followers swell, rivals like Togol Khan test his mettle, providing the crucible in which Temujin's leadership and strategic brilliance are tested. Despite the opposition, Temujin's star continues to rise. Each challenge forges his resolve, shaping him into the leader who will unite the Mongols into a force that will reshape the world. His journey from defeated lover to a warlord who united the Mongols is nothing short of legendary. And yet, we're only just getting started. Imagine standing atop a stony outcrop overlooking the battlefield after a hard-won victory. Below you, the remnants of your enemies lie scattered. Your heart pounds, not just from the day's exertion, but from the weight of what lies ahead. The initial thrill of victory is giving way to the sobering reality of what comes next. You look out at your men, their faces etched with fatigue, their weapons dulled by the day's struggle. The vibrant colors of Mongol dress, usually a testament to their pride, are now dusted with the grim residue of battle. You turn your gaze back to the field, surveying the damage, the trampled earth, the fallen bodies, both human and animal, a stark reminder of the day's toll. There is a profound stillness broken only by the mournful cries of a lone hawk overhead. It's in moments like these that the true cost of conquest becomes clearer. Victory is not just about strategy and strength. It's a brutal dance of attrition. You consider the logistics of feeding, sheltering, and arming your men, the dwindling supplies, the need to repair equipment, and the ever-present threat of disease. These are not concerns that sit comfortably with the romantic notions of conquest you may have harbored. They are cold, hard facts that demand attention. The weight of responsibility presses down on you, threatening to crush you. The cheers of your men as they celebrate their triumphs echo hollowly in your ears. You know that behind the bravado, many are nursing wounds, not just physical, but emotional too. The horrors of battle leave scars that run deeper than skin, scars that will forever be a part of your men, just as they are a part of you. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the field, you feel a profound sense of melancholy. The camaraderie forged in battle, the shared danger and exhaustion, it's a bond unlike any other. But you know that tomorrow, the bubble of unity will burst, and you'll be confronted with the hard realities of governance, of keeping this fragile unity intact. For now, though, you stand in the fading light, the conqueror of many, yet still haunted by the specter of those who paid the ultimate price. The battle is done, but the true test, the test of leadership, is just beginning. The year is 1190. You are Temujin. After years of fighting for survival and building alliances, you are finally ready to seize control of northern Mongolia and unite the tribes under your banner. But before you can claim victory, you have to solve one problem. Your sworn enemy, Togol Khan, learned of your plans and gathered his armies to stop you. Right now, he's marching towards you, and you don't have enough men to face him in battle. Now, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you should probably get out of here. There's nothing more to do here for now. You need to gather more allies and build your strength. So where will you go? Welcome to the Mongol Empire. Today, we'll use history and geography to explore some of the places you could visit in Genghis Khan's world. First, a little disclaimer. We know very little about most of the locations in Genghis Khan's world. We have a lot of information about the major cities, but beyond that, we really only know about places mentioned in primary sources. That means today's episode will be a bit different than usual. I won't try to recreate what it was like to be in these places because we simply don't have enough information to do it. Instead, I'll give you some possibilities and let you decide what the world looked like. Just remember, anything can happen in Genghis Khan's world. So where will you go? 1. Somewhere safe. With Togol Khan marching on your position, you know you're in danger. You need to get somewhere safe, but where? Will you head south to the mountains where Togol's army won't be able to follow? Will you go north to Annan River where your brother is waiting with reinforcements? Or will you flee east to the forests where you can hide until Togrul passes? 2. Along the Silk Road. In this time period, trade is booming across Eurasia, and merchants from China, Persia, and Europe are moving across the steppes. You might be able to find somewhere to hide along the Silk Road, but will you travel west to the cities of Kashgar and Samarkand? Or will you go east to the Chinese border where the road enters Mongolia? 3. Into the deserts of the Gobi. You could always try heading into the deserts of the Gobi. It's unlikely. Togrul will chase you there. But are you sure you can survive the journey? If you want to visit something cool, you should definitely come this way. How much exploring will you do? Select one. You chose to hide along the Silk Road. You decided to head east towards the Chinese border. Well, you've made it to Karakoram. At least for now, Togrul's army hasn't found you. Soon, though, he'll reach the banks of the Annan River, which marks the border between Mongolia and China. He'll cross the river and begin searching for you. Now it's up to you. Do you stay in Karakoram and risk being captured, or do you head further east? If you want to visit something cool, you should definitely come this way. How much exploring will you do? Select one. You chose to run away. You raced east from Karakoram, desperately hoping you'd outrun Togrul's forces. Finally, you've reached the Great Wall of China. Now you're safe. Togrul's army won't cross the wall to pursue you. You can finally rest, but how long can you stay here? Eventually, you'll need to sneak past the Chinese defenders and escape back to Mongolia. Where will you go once you leave the wall? 1. West. Once you leave the wall, you can try heading west to Karakoram. Maybe now Togrul's forces have given up the search. Or will you go further west to the cities of Kashgar and Samarkand? 2. North. Maybe you want to hide somewhere remote. You could try heading north and hiding among the mountains. But are you sure you can survive the journey? Or maybe you'll find another way to make it work. 3. East. Why go back to Karakoram when you can keep running east? You're safe here, and the farther you run, the less likely Togrul's army will find you. But where will you go? You chose to go north. You slipped past the Chinese guards and fled north into the mountains. But these mountains are massive, and you need someplace to rest. Which mountain pass will you travel through? You chose to travel east. You sprinted east from Karakoram, desperate to put as much distance between you and Togrul's forces as possible. Now you're deep in the Gobi Desert. You need to rest, but you're not sure if you can trust anyone around here. Where will you go? 1. Towards the coast. You know there are settlements along the coast, but the journey will take a long time. By the time you arrive, Togrul's forces might be there already. 2. South. The mountains lie to the south, but you're not sure if it's worth the climb. Are you sure you can survive the journey? Or 3. North. The only thing that lies to the north is the desert. But you don't have any other options, so you start heading north. But soon you realize you're lost and you'll probably die here. But wait, what's that over there? It looks like a ruin. But you're not sure if it's friendly. Do you approach the ruin or keep running north? You chose to go to the ruin. You didn't have much choice. You were dying of thirst and exhaustion. So you headed to the ruin, hoping you could find water or shelter. As you approach, you notice it's a city. The walls are crumbling, but you can still make out the shapes of towers and gates. It doesn't look like anyone lives here anymore. You're not sure if it's safe to enter, but you don't really have a choice. You're too tired to stay out here. You'll sleep here tonight, whether the ghosts of the city like it or not. And as you settle down to sleep, you realize you're not alone. Someone else is in the city, but who could it be? 1. A band of robbers. You woke up during the night and heard noises in the city. Now you think you see figures moving outside the gate. Who are they? 2. An animal. You must have been dreaming. The noises in the night were probably just an animal passing through. You're safe. you can go back to sleep. Or 3, nothing. There wasn't anything there. You were just having a nightmare. You're safe. You can go back to sleep. You chose a band of robbers. You knew you weren't safe in the city, but you didn't think anything would actually happen. You're too tired to fight back. They're gonna kill you. And you're right. The band of robbers easily overpowers you and takes all your supplies. Now they're gonna kill you. So you closed your eyes and waited for the pain, but it never came. You opened your eyes and saw the leader of the gang looking at you with an interesting expression. He tells you that he's never seen someone so emaciated. He thinks you're gonna die anyway, so he'll let you live if you help the gang move their supplies to the ruin. You think you might be able to help them, but are you strong enough? Will you accept their offer? And that's the end of this episode. Thanks for playing. If you enjoyed this game, please share it with your friends. It really helps us grow. Also, if you're interested in getting ad-free versions of our games and supporting our team, consider checking out our page. From the empty ruins of Khara Khoto, let us step into a very different world, one not of abandonment, but of power. Picture now a vast tent, not of canvas and wood, but of wool felt, layered thick against the chill winds of the northern steppes. Imagine its surface gleaming with silk, patterned with the suns and moons of a nomad people. This is the Great Khan's dwelling, a mobile palace where the walls are tall and broad enough to house not just a family, but a court. Within, the air is warm, heavy with the scent of burning wood and the quiet murmur of men in debate. Carpets as rich as any nobleman's home in the cities of the south soften the ground, and cushions piled high with furs offer comfort. Low tables hold treasures from across the known world, from the jeweled hilt of a Persian sword to a Chinese vase overflowing with blooms. And everywhere, shadows play on the walls from the dancing flames of a brazier carried past by an attendant. Here in this tent of felt and silk, a Mongol Khan holds court. He is a ruler of men, of horses, and of the seemingly endless lands that stretch from the Pacific to the Volga. His world is one of comfort and burden. A visitor stepping inside might see only the trappings of wealth, the finest robes of linen and hemp laid. Across his legs, an ornate saddle blanket thrown over the back of a chair, a jeweled dagger and saber at his side. But the casual eye would miss the weight of the office the Khan is burdened with. For within this tent, the fate of thousands, even millions, are decided. Envoys arrive, kneeling before the Great Khan, bearing news from distant lands across his empire. Some come from Cathay, where merchants ply their trade along the Silk Road. Others have ridden across deserts from the Abbasid Caliphate, still more from the shores of the Baltic. Here in the north, the seasons are harsh and the land is unforgiving. So when the sun climbs high in the sky, casting long fingers of light through the silken walls of the yurt, the Great Khan rises. With a shiver, he is never far from his horse. In the stirrups, his bulk silhouetted against the sun, he looks out across the rolling steppe, unchanging for generations. It is a landscape that has cradled his people since the days when they were a minor clan in the great migration of the Mongols. Now their domain stretches as far as the eye can see. The Great Khan turns back to the business of ruling. Messengers wait with news of battles won and lost, of alliances formed and broken, of caravans crossing the burning sands or sailing up northern rivers laden with treasure. Each brings news that will shape the lives of those across thousands of miles. An envoy from the Abbasid Caliphate seeks safe passage for pilgrims on their way to the Holy Land. A chieftain from Korea asks for aid against a rival kingdom. A young merchant from Venice proposes a trade deal that could bring untold riches to the Mongol Empire. One by one, the Khans meet with each, giving audience, receiving tribute, listening to pleas, and granting boons. Time and again, the sound of the glockenspiel fades away, swallowed by the vastness of the open plain. When the hour of midday arrives, the heat at last begins to abate, and the tents of the court are hushed. Servants bring a meal of boiled mutton, its savory steam mingling with the sweet smell of wood smoke. Bowls of fermented Mari's milk are set out alongside flagons of beer. Platters piled high with bread, dairy, and grains are brought in. The servants move silently, unseen by the visitors who sit around the Khan in a half circle, seated according to rank. Some are nobles who have ridden hard from distant parts of the empire. Others are scholars and artisans who have come to the capital to show their skills. All have journeyed across hundreds or even thousands of miles to reach the court. For a while, there is only the quiet of eating, the scrape of spoons against wood, the murmur of voices. When the meal is done, the guests are dismissed one by one until only the most favored retainers remain. Then the great Khan speaks, and once more, decisions are made that will shape the lives of millions across his empire. We have followed history's path into the heart of the Mongol Empire, where we find a world of luxury and obligation, of immense wealth and heavy responsibility. In the end, perhaps the life of a Khan was not so different from your own. A Mongol Khan's tent might be the most opulent shelter on the Eurasian steppe, a world away from the hardships faced by ordinary folk. But beyond the tent, life was not soft. A Khan was also expected to lead in war, riding at the head of his troops, enduring the same bitter cold, the same biting winds as his men. Even in command, he remained tied to the rhythms of nomadic life. Horses were the true wealth of the steppe, and a Khan was judged not only by his victories, but by the herds he commanded and the loyalty he inspired. Imagine Temujin, the future Genghis Khan, securing his first major victory at the Battle of the River Khalkha. His warriors, the core of the growing Mongol Empire, are exhausted, thirsty, and weary from days of hard fighting. But Temujin refuses to let them rest until they have driven their defeated enemies into the river, ensuring no one is left to hinder their camp. Such was the dedication required of a leader, always mindful of his followers, always ready to press an advantage. But a Khan's life was far from just battles and horseback riding. He was the focal point of a complex web of alliances and rivalries, and he had to navigate this delicate balance with skill. Consider also the weight of succession. A Khan's power was never secure. Brothers, cousins, and sons often contested authority. Behind the silken walls of the Ger, rivalry simmered, perhaps even over who would succeed their father. Decisions made in whispers could erupt into feuds, reshaping clans and realigning alliances. A skilled Khan had to be a master of intrigue, knowing when to offer a hand of friendship and when to draw a line of defense. And yet there was ceremony too, a way to bring order to this chaos. The Mongol Khans maintained traditions that bound them to the spirit of the steppe. Great gatherings, known as Kurultai, were held in wide open spaces where thousands of horsemen would assemble. Here leaders spoke, tribes pledged loyalty, and the Khan's authority was affirmed beneath the vast sky itself. Picture such a gathering, the thunder of hooves as riders approach, banners fluttering in the wind, the sun flashing across polished helmets and bright silk. Then silence, as the Khan rises to speak. His words carried not only by voice, but by reputation, the weight of his life, his lineage, his past victories. At these gatherings, a young Khan might solidify his rule, rally his people for a coming campaign, or confirm peace with neighboring leaders. It was a way to impose order on the openness of the steppe, to remind all that even in a sea of faces, he, the Khan, was the center. But what did these gatherings and the trappings of wealth mean for a Khan's everyday life? Not much, truth be told. Much of a Khan's time was spent in the saddle, traveling with his court from one encampment to another, always keeping to the rhythm of the seasons, always seeking fresh pastures for his herds. In the rare moments of calm, a Khan might hunt, the one activity that came close to offering peace. For a Khan, the thrill of the chase, the focus it demanded, were a welcome distraction from the cares of leadership. Perhaps he would take a favorite horse, a stallion as swift and strong as the wind, and ride across the open steppe, the horse's mane flowing like a banner in the wind. Or maybe he would sit wrapped in furs, a cup of kumis, fermented Mari's milk in his hands, watching his falcons. An eagle soared and dived around him, taking prey from the vast emptiness of the sky. Yet even in these moments of personal joy, a Khan's existence was not truly his own. For a Khan's life was one of constant exposure, not just of his power, but of his very being. The cold, sweeping emptiness just outside the ger could intrude in an instant, reminding him that his tent, his wealth, his very survival depended on the goodwill of his people and the whims of the elements. The life of a Mongol Khan was one of contrast between the silken luxury and the harsh exposure, between absolute power and fragile alliances, between the warmth of a great tent and the cold, sweeping emptiness just outside. It was a life of contradictions, a grand, sweeping existence on the edge of the world. And so our journey across the Gobi draws to an end. We have walked with camel tenders, enduring the heat of day and the chill of night. We have followed the exiled boy Temujin, struggling to survive the hunger of the steppe. We have stood before the silent ruins of Khara Khoto, and we have entered the silken tent of a Khan where empires were shaped. Each story reminds us of endurance, the ability to survive hardship, whether through quiet labor, childhood struggle, the preservation of memory, or the balancing act of leadership. As you drift into rest, remember the contrast between then and now. The Gobi was vast, empty, and harsh. But here in your present moment, you are warm, safe, and at ease. The desert winds cannot reach you. The silence of abandoned cities is far away. What remains is only a calm reflection of lives once lived, of resilience carried across centuries. Close your eyes, if you haven't already. Let the steady rhythm of history settle into your thoughts. The footsteps of camel tenders, the quiet breathing of horses, the stillness of desert stars, all are far behind. Here and now, there is only calm. Here and now, there is only rest. Sleep well. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Gobi Desert. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please leave a review and share it with others. I'd love to hear what you thought about our journey. Your feedback helps other history lovers discover amazing audiobooks like this one. So take a moment to tell us what you thought. In the meantime, I have another suggestion for you. It's another incredible journey through time, this time to ancient Greece. In the best-selling novel, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, experience the legendary tale of Achilles and Patroclus like you never have before. When Helen of Sparta is taken captive by the Trojans, the Greek princess set off to besiege the city and win her back. Among them is the fierce warrior Achilles, the greatest of the Greek heroes, and his close companion, the young prince Patroclus. But as the Greeks lay siege to Troy, Achilles finds himself torn between his duty to his homeland and his heart, which yearns for the peace he might find only with Patroclus by his side. This captivating story weaves a tapestry of courage, love, loss, and the complexities of the human experience. You will now feel the clash of swords as you walk alongside these legendary figures on their journey to glory and doom. Don't miss out on this epic adventure. Listen to the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, narrated by the incredible narrator. Available on various platforms, it's the perfect way to experience this captivating story. So grab your headphones and get ready to be transported to ancient Greece. Trust me, this is one journey you won't want to miss. Now back to our journey across the Gobi. The dunes whisper tales of a time when the wind was their only company. They shift and change, yet hold the memory of footsteps long gone. Can you feel the echoes of those who walked here before you? Beneath your feet, the desert sands have heard the murmur of languages long faded into silence. How many stories lie buried beneath this undulating landscape? The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. The air cools, bringing a brief respite from the day's relentless heat. As darkness falls, the desert comes alive with nocturnal whispers. The rustling of unseen creatures, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle murmur of the night wind becomes a lullaby. The vast expanse of the night sky glitters with a million stars, their distant light twinkling like celestial fireflies against the deep velvet cloth of the cosmos. How many journeys have been made under this very sky? How many hopes and dreams have been born amidst these silent dunes? The moon, a silent witness to the passage of time, casts long shadows that dance and sway with the gentle breeze. For a moment, let the rhythm of the desert lull you into a state of peaceful contemplation. Lose yourself in the timeless expanse of the Gobi Desert, where the past and present converge under a canopy of stars. Let the ancient wisdom of the land wash over you, soothing your soul and reminding you of life's simple truths. In this vast solitude, you may just find a sense of connection that transcends time itself. The Gobi Desert, with its rugged beauty and timeless expanse, invites you to pause, to reflect, and to dream. As the night deepens, let the desert's tranquility envelop you, carrying you on a journey of self-discovery under the starlit sky. Allow the whispers of the wind to guide you, the rustling leaves to comfort you, and the symphony of the night to lull you into a peaceful slumber. Rest now, weary traveler, and let the magic of the desert work its wonders upon you. For here in the embrace of the Gobi, you are truly at peace.
Tonight's story comes to a close. If your eyes have gently shut, then I wish you a deep, peaceful sleep until we meet again in the next dream.